Discover the incredible journey, how a heartwarming act transformed my relationship with my Gran. In a small Midwestern town, where the sun dipped low over rolling fields, Sam felt the weight of his world pressing down. It wasn't the kind of weight that bruised a steady, relentless burden of bills, a family garage on the brink of closure, and his cherished bond with his grandmother, Evelyn, fraying at the edges. Each passing day, his hands grew steady from years spent repairing engines, but they felt heavy when it came to lifting the phone and calling the woman who had given him everything. Every tick of the clock screamed of lost dreams, his, hers, and a legacy that seemed to slip through their fingers like sand. Evelyn, a retired schoolteacher with a heart big enough to hold the whole town, watched with sorrow as Sam buried himself in work. The warmth of their Sunday afternoon conversations evaporated, replaced by an awkward silence that felt thicker than the dust on the old wooden floors. It was a silence heavy with unspoken words, histories of kindness piled high like forgotten treasures in the attic of their lives. One dusty afternoon, compelled by a mix of nostalgia and guilt, Sam knelt in the attic, rummaging through boxes. Suddenly, he stumbled upon a trove of old letters, yellowed and fragile, like time itself pinned carefully between the pages. Each letter bared stories of sacrifice and relentless hope. Words he had never taken the time to read now flooded him with emotion, unraveling the true depth of Evelyn's love and longing for their shared future. Overwhelmed, tears brimming in his eyes, Sam realized how blind he had been. He had taken her unwavering support for granted, assuming she'd always be there, a constant in his shifting world. But it was time to change that. A plan began to form, a flicker of determination igniting in his chest. What if he organized a community event to celebrate Evelyn, to honor the indelible mark she had left on their lives? Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Excitement swelled in him as he rallied their neighbors, brushing the cobwebs off the bonds that felt neglected. But not everyone shared his vision. A skeptical neighbor, Bill, questioned whether Sam was sincere, whether he truly valued his grandmother's legacy. Tensions flared like fireworks on a summer night, threatening to overshadow what Sam believed could be a heartwarming tribute. But then, as if written by fate, a local veteran, once a pillar in the community, stepped forward in a simple act of kindness, reminding everyone of why they cherished Evelyn's lessons: unity, love, even in adversity. The gesture rippled through the crowd, reigniting their spirits just days before the event, but with unrest behind the smiles and laughter, Sam stood perched on the edge of a revelation, standing in the heart of it all. Perhaps, just perhaps, this event might forge a new path back to his grandmother's heart. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in shades of hope, a question loomed. Would the warmth of their community be enough to bridge the divide that had grown between him and Evelyn? And could the event truly heal the scars of silence that had formed in the wake of their struggles, or would the past keep them apart forever? The day of the event dawned with a soft glow spilling across the town like a warm hug. Sam woke up early, his heart drumming a rhythm of hope and anxiety. As the morning light streamed through the windows, he caught a glimpse of the banner he had hung outside Evelyn's house the night before. Celebrating Evelyn, a life of love and service. It proclaimed, fluttering proudly in the gentle breeze. He made his way to the community center, the scent of cinnamon rolls wafting through the air. Neighbors bustled around, setting up tables and stringing lights. Laughter echoed as children darted in and out, weaving between adults who were uniting to create something beautiful. Yet, in the back of Sam's mind, doubt nagged. Would this truly be enough to heal what had grown between him and his grandmother? As the event got underway, old friends and familiar faces filled the room with warmth. Sam noticed Evelyn at the edge of the crowd, her weathered hands clasped tightly as she listened to stories, her eyes sparkling with pride but also hinting at unspoken worries. Sam's heart squeezed. He wanted to be the grandson who pulled her close and reassured her that their bond could be mended. That he took a deep breath and climbed up to the makeshift stage. The room quieted, eyes turning toward him. With each glance, he felt the stitches of his past with Evelyn tightening around his heart. Thank you all for being here today to celebrate my grandma, Evelyn, he began, his voice steady but unsteadying beneath the surface. She taught me so much, not just about books and life, but about love. Love for family and community. As he spoke, words flowed like a river unleashed from a dam, stories spilling from long-forgotten memories. He shared about the countless afternoons they spent baking cookies, the summer days tending to the garden, and the nights they sat together under the stars, dreaming of a better tomorrow. Each tale resonated in the hearts of those gathered, with chuckles and smiles merging with quiet tears. Through it all, he searched for Evelyn's gaze. When he finally found it, his heart swelled. The edges of her lips turned up into a soft smile, but her eyes glistened with a complexity of emotions: joy, nostalgia, and something darker that hinted at sadness. He needed her to know he appreciated everything she had done for him. I know I haven't been the best grandson. I've been lost in my own world, he continued, his voice gaining strength. But I'm here today, not just to celebrate you, Grandma, but to promise you that I'm back. We're back. Together. The air thickened with emotion, some were nodding, others were wiping tears. Just then, the crowd erupted into a spontaneous round of applause. Evelyn's smile widened, but in her eyes lurked a question Paul felt deep in his bones. Would she let him back in? As the applause subsided, he stepped down from the stage. Only moments later, the music swelled, pulling people onto the dance floor. Sam moved toward his grandmother, his heart racing. Can we dance? She looked at him, this time without hesitation, and nodded. They stepped onto the dance floor, the rest of the world fading away. With every step they took, the years of distance seemed to melt away. He held her close, and in that instant, amidst the laughter and chatter of the community, hope flickered anew. But then the music shifted to a soothing melody, and as they twirled, a shadow crossed Evelyn's face. Just as celebration filled the air, doubt crept back into Sam's heart. What else had he missed? What other truths might they still need to face? As the final notes played, the atmosphere thickened with possibility. What truths would finally surface in their renewed connection? Would this small step truly lead to the healing they both desperately needed? As they swayed under the twinkling lights, the worries of the past whispered inside Sam's head. He held Evelyn gently, feeling the warmth radiate from her, a tangible reassurance that they were indeed back in sync, if only for this moment. The music filled the space, but all he could hear was the quickened beat of his heart. Evelyn leaned slightly away, searching his eyes. Sam, she said softly, her voice catching, do you really mean what you said up there? Her gaze bore into his, a mix of hope and uncertainty rolling through them both. Of course I do, Grandma. I want to be part of your life again. I want us to share everything, the good, the bad, the silly, and talk like we used to, he replied, squeezing her little hands in his. But we've lost so much time, she murmured, her smile wavering. Maybe we can make up for it, he answered, determination swelling in his chest. Every story you told today reminded me how much I love being with you. Let us start new memories from now on. As the melody shifted again, intertwining softer notes with the buzz of the crowd, Sam felt a shift. Evelyn tilted her head, as if weighing the words he had just spoken. He watched as the minutes ticked by, wondering what barrier still held her back. A voice from across the room cut through. It was Mrs. Thompson, a longtime friend of Evelyn's. Oh, it's so lovely to see you two dancing. I remember when Sam was just a little kid running around here. The comment sparked a wave of laughter in the crowd as they all watched the couple twirl. Sam flicked his gaze to Evelyn, who let out a slight chuckle. The familiar sound soothed his worries, if only momentarily. They knew joy, then, burst through those years of silence like a fresh bloom in spring. As the tune lulled to its end, Sam led her off the dance floor, wrapping her arm around his, guiding her toward a quieter corner of the center. He could sense hesitation in Evelyn, but also a glimmer of hope that he hadn't seen before. Do you remember the stories about Grandma's adventures as a young woman? He asked, his voice lowered. I want to hear more. I want to know you beyond just my memories. She looked away, a flicker of anguish crossing her face. Some stories are hard to tell. There are things I've kept from you, Sam. A lump formed in his throat. What do you mean? You can tell me anything. Evelyn took a deep breath. There are parts of my life that changed me. Things I did to keep us both safe. I don't know if you're ready for them. His heart pounded as he processed her words. What had she concealed? What shadow hung over their relationship, waiting to be revealed? He could feel the emotional grip tightening again, but this time, he was ready to pull it apart. I'll listen. I promise to be here for you, whatever it is. Finally, Evelyn looked up at him, eyes glistening again. You don't know how much that means to me. Just as she seemed ready to dive into those hidden depths, the sudden noise of laughter crashed against the walls, pulling attention back to the festivities outside. Maybe I'm not ready, she whispered, pain punctuating her voice like a distant echo. They lingered in silence, the celebration surrounding them fading into the backdrop of their moment. Sam's heart sank with uncertainty. How could they heal if parts of their story were stuck in silence? They stood close together, the potential for revelation hanging in the air, while the crowd continued to burst with joy just beyond them. What truth would finally shake their foundation? Would their bond endure the answers that lay ahead? Sam felt the weight of Evelyn's silence pressing in around them. It was as if the joyful music and laughter from the party had faded, leaving only the two of them standing in the dim light of the corner. The air between them was thick with unspoken words. He could almost hear the ticking clock of their lost years, each tick echoing louder than the next. Evelyn's expression shifted, a mix of vulnerability and stubbornness. There are things I wish I could forget, Sam. Times when I thought I had failed you. Failed me? His voice came out sharper than he intended. He stepped closer, his eyes searching hers. You've always been there for me. I need you to know that. Do I really? Evelyn's voice cracked, the slightest tremor revealing the cracks in her brave facade. You were so young when I made choices that changed everything for us. There were days when my heart hurt so much I could barely breathe. Sam's heart ached as he listened. He wanted to comfort her, to bridge the divide time had carved between them. You didn't fail me, Grandma. I've missed you. I want to understand, to really know you. Before Evelyn could respond, the laughter bubbled up again, breaking through their fragile moment. Sam watched the other guests, dancing and enjoying themselves, oblivious to the pain just a few steps away. In that crowd, Evelyn's eyes softened as they settled on the dance floor, memories rushing in that neither of them had ever shared. You know, she said, I remember dancing with your grandfather right there. It was something else, the way he held me. I thought, what happened? Sam asked gently. He consciously chose those words, not wanting to pry but intrigued by the hint of a story. Evelyn's gaze remained locked on the floor, a wave of recollection washing over her. Life, it gets messy. Love, loss, hope, those mix in ways that are not pretty. I was just a girl with big dreams. We were happy. But happiness can slip through your fingers like sand. Sam moved closer. But you survived. You made it to this moment tonight. Evelyn shook her head, the weight of her past still heavy on her shoulders. Sometimes, survival isn't enough. You carry your battles with you. The music changed again, lighter notes spilling through the air, but it only deepened the sadness in the small space between them. Sam reached for her hand, holding it firmly, yet gently. Then let us carry those together. Whatever it is, we'll face it side by side. You can trust me. Her eyes flickered with hesitation, an emotional wall still rising between them. What if those stories change the way you see me? What if I don't care about the past? His voice was steady. Stronger. I care about you, Grandma. You, right here, right now. Together. Evelyn's tears glimmered in her eyes, and for a flicker of a moment, it seemed the emotional floodgates might burst. Okay, she whispered finally. But I need you to promise something first. What is it? Promise you won't walk away when I start to share those stories. I promise. The words came from deep within his heart. He adjusted his grip on her hand, feeling that they were closer than ever. But uncertainty still hung in the air like a storm cloud, poised to break. Just then, a playful shout erupted from the party. A group broke into laughter loud enough for even Evelyn to crack a smile. But it didn't last long. Sam. The things I have to tell you could change everything. With her admission thicker than the sweetness of the dessert almost forgotten on the table, the two of them stood there, the distance shrinking, the past vying for survival. What truths awaited them? Was their bond strong enough to withstand the revelations that lay ahead? Evelyn took a deep breath, her eyes flickering from the dance floor back to Sam. The lightness of the moment felt fragile, like a bubble that could easily pop if they weren't careful. But the intensity of their shared gazes bore witness to something deeper, something that neither had felt in years. "All right," she finally said, her voice a whisper wrapped in uncertainty. "I'll share a piece of that past. It started when I was just a girl, much like you right now. I had dreams, ambitions. I thought I knew what love was." "What do you mean?" Sam leaned in, captivated. His heart raced as he sensed that this was the moment that could bring them closer, or tear them apart. Evelyn's brow furrowed, her thoughts a tangled web. "Your grandfather, he was my first love. I remember the way he laughed, the sound like music. We believed we could conquer the world together," but her voice trailed off, the weight of what came next heavy on her tongue. "What happened?" Sam urged gently, wanting her to feel safe to continue. "You can tell me." Evelyn nodded slowly, collecting her thoughts like leaves in a gentle breeze. "We married young. I was just 18, full of dreams. But life doesn't always go as planned. I lost my way after your grandfather passed. It was a hard road filled with grief and regret. There were choices, Sam, choices I made that took me far from who I wanted to be." Sam could see the turmoil in her eyes, the waves of emotions crashing against her composure. He squeezed her hand, willing her to carry on. "What do you regret the most?" Her eyes glistened as she responded. "Not talking about it. Not sharing our joys and pains. I built walls, thinking they would protect me, but they only isolated me. And in doing so, I lost the chance to show you all that love could be." A silence stretched between them, heavy like a thick fog. Every laugh outside seemed to fade into quiet whispers as Sam processed her confession. "You didn't fail me, Grandma. You were human. We all are. It's okay to have scars." Her gaze met his, a flicker of light igniting hope amidst the shadows. "You don't understand, Sam. I missed the moments that could have connected us. I buried myself in sorrows instead of sharing love." He shook his head, warmth rushing through him. "But we're here now. We're talking. You're not alone anymore." Evelyn took a shaky breath, her resolve strengthening as she moved deeper into the story. "There are other pieces I need to share, times when I stepped away from who I was supposed to be. There are things about our family that weren't always good. Things I kept hidden, thinking I was protecting you. But maybe it's time for those shadows to see the light." Sam's heart raced again. "What do you mean? What's hidden?" Evelyn hesitated, chewing her lip, as if the words themselves were covered in thorns. "There are realities about our family's secrets that could impact how you see us, how you see yourself. Do you still want to know?" "Yes. I'm here for it all." The passion in his voice surprised even him, but it was true. He wanted to understand. He needed to bridge the gap, to feel the raw truth of their shared history. With a shuddering breath, Evelyn prepared to unveil the shadows that had loomed over their lives for too long. But just as she was about to begin, a loud crash echoed through the venue, followed by gasps and laughter. They both turned toward the commotion, the moment dissipating like a wisp of smoke before them. "What was that?" Sam asked, torn between the unfolding mystery and the raucous noise coiling around them. "I don't know," Evelyn replied, her voice trembling slightly. "But it seems like life has a way of interrupting us, doesn't it?" As the laughter returned, so did the tension between them, palpable yet charged with the promise of more to come. What secrets would Evelyn soon reveal? Would they be ready to face them together, or would they crumble under the weight of the past, it became clear that the shadows weren't done lingering just yet. Evelyn's heart raced, her thoughts tangled like the lights above them swirling in colors. A loud cheer erupted from across the room, breaking the spell that had pulled them into a delicate moment of connection. She glanced down at Sam, searching his eyes to reassure her that they could revisit the truth when the noise subsided, but Sam was already shifting his focus back to the dance floor, intrigued by whatever had caused the commotion. There, a group of young adults was laughing heartily, and the flickering lights danced around them. They looked carefree, lost in their own world as they celebrated. It contrasted sharply with the heaviness that lingered around their table. "Hey, how about we check it out?" Sam suggested, excitement bubbling in his voice. "I mean, we can always come back to your story, right?" Evelyn hesitated, a part of her wanting to dive back into the depths of the past. But another part craved the lightness that surrounded them now. She nodded slowly, feeling the weight of her own history hovering just above her. "All right, let us go see what's so exciting," she said, allowing herself to follow him. As they moved through the crowd, Evelyn couldn't help but feel a bittersweet pang in her heart. They approached the group, and she could see that a dancing competition was underway. A girl spun into the center of the circle, her laughter infectious as she encouraged others to join in. The atmosphere buzzed with anticipation, and Sam's eyes lit up. "Come on. Let us join," he shouted, pulling her close. Evelyn felt a tug in her spirit, a hint of her own youthful exuberance awakening. She could almost sense her younger self, the girl who twirled in front of mirrors, dreaming of the future. Slowly, she stepped into the circle, feeling the warmth of acceptance wrap around her. "Let us show them what we've got, Grandma." Sam laughed, and she could see the joy in his eyes reflecting back at her. For a moment, she forgot about the shadows looming over her revelations. They danced together, their movements filled with laughter and freedom. Surrounded by strangers, Evelyn felt her heart crack open a little more, letting in rushed air and laughter. When the song ended, they were both breathless, flushed with excitement. The crowd erupted into applause, and for a moment, it felt like they could conquer the world just as she had once thought so many years ago. But reality crept back as the moment faded. The fleeting joy left her wondering how on earth she'd managed to tuck away these memories for so long. "What was that?" "That was amazing," Sam said, panting, his excitement somehow buoying her spirits. "We should do this more often." Evelyn smiled, but her mind raced with the weight of what still needed to be shared. "Maybe, but what I haven't told you yet is just as important." "Yeah?" He tilted his head, curious. "Like what?" Evelyn took a breath, steeling herself. "It's about our family, the stories they don't tell you. There's more to who we are than meets the eye, Sam." Evelyn scanned the room again, feeling the pulsing energy of life dancing all around her, a dance of joy, but also a dance of truth waiting to be revealed. She could feel the weight of what lay ahead, the burden of secrets clashing with the lightness of the moment. As they stepped away from the dance floor, she knew they were approaching something significant. The challenge was no longer just her past, it was how to bring Sam along into the depths of it with her. "Ready for more?" she asked, her heart drumming to a different rhythm now. With excitement still dancing in his eyes, Sam nodded, unaware of the intensity of what was to come. "Yes. Lay it on me," he replied, and Evelyn felt the steady warmth of connection and courage flood through her veins. The shadows were about to be transformed into a powerful revelation, and she couldn't shake the feeling that everything would change from here. Would the truth empower them to grow even closer, or would it challenge the bond they were building? Evelyn felt a mixture of fear and anticipation, knowing they were at the edge of something truly profound. Evelyn took another deep breath, grounding herself as she felt the rhythmic thump of music still vibrating in her chest. The laughter around them faded into a comforting hum, allowing her to focus on what lay ahead. She turned to Sam, whose eagerness was practically radiating off him. His eyes sparkled with expectation, and Evelyn couldn't help but feel a flicker of hope among her trepidations. "I think it's time to talk about your grandparents," she started, her voice steady despite the nervous energy twisting inside her. "There's a lot more to our family history than you might know." Sam's smile faltered slightly. The joy from dancing was still there but tinged with curiosity. What do you mean? I thought I knew everything. I'm not talking about the fun stories, Evelyn clarified, her heart tightening as memories began to spill out, each heavier than the last. I mean the real stories. The ones that shaped us, forged connections, and even created divides. Sam tilted his head, intrigued yet cautious. Like what? Did something happen? Were they hiding something? Evelyn moved them to a quieter corner, half wishing they still stood in the warmth of the dance floor. The noise felt safer, but she needed this moment to matter. Taking a moment, she glanced over at the group still entranced by their own celebrations, knowing that the world carried on blissfully ignorant of the storms within families. It's not so clear-cut, she began, feeling like a tightrope walker over her own history. Your grandparents came from different worlds, Sam. They met during a time when their families didn't approve, when love had to battle against a backdrop of expectation and prejudice. But they made it work, right? Sam interjected, his youthful optimism shining through. That's a good thing. Yes, and no, she continued, feeling the weight of what she was about to unveil. They fought for their love, yes. But they also fought each other. Their pasts haunted them, and sometimes that darkness came home too. They did their best to shield you and your brother from it, but those shadows still lingered, even if you couldn't see them. Shadows? Sam frowned, searching her face for answers she was still trying to formulate. Are you saying we're like damaged goods? Evelyn shook her head fervently. No, not damaged. Just shaped by circumstances. And that's important for you to understand your roots. Everyone carries their own battles, Sam. It doesn't define you, but it's part of who you are, part of who we are. A moment of silence passed, during which Sam absorbed her words. His brow furrowed, thoughts clearly racing behind those bright eyes. So, is there something we're supposed to do about this? Or remember? Perhaps remembering is the first step, Evelyn said softly, her voice surprisingly steady. To know where you come from is to honor your lineage and recognize its power over your present. I want you to realize that resilience is embedded in our blood. As she spoke, the crowd's laughter swirled back around them, an electric reminder of the lives carrying on outside the bubble of their moment. But she could see it in Sam's expression. The realization was dawning, even if it was just a sliver of understanding. Okay, he whispered, the truth of her words sinking in as his eyes seemed to shine with cautious admiration. So what do we do next? Evelyn hesitated, considering her next words carefully. We dive deeper, she replied. It's time to uncover the stories they might have left behind. There are memories locked away in old boxes, in hidden corners of the past. Like a treasure hunt. Sam interrupted, his excitement sparking like fireworks in his eyes. I'm in. Evelyn felt her heart swell, almost relieved. This was the beginning of a journey, not just for Sam, but for her too. As Sam continued to bounce on his heels, clearly ready for adventure, a feeling of anticipation washed over her. It wasn't just about looking back, it was about how those shadows could illuminate new paths forward. What secrets would they discover together? And would they find the strength to embrace them, or would the past threaten to pull them apart? The music swelled again, but Evelyn's focus was elsewhere. She and Sam stood amidst a sea of jubilant faces, yet their own little world felt cloistered and intense. The adventure ahead felt exhilarating, but she couldn't shake the dread that had settled in her stomach. The weight of revealing their family history was daunting. What if the old wounds were reopened? What are we looking for? Sam's question poised Evelyn on the brink of both excitement and anxiety. Old letters, photographs, maybe even journals, she mused aloud, shifting her thoughts as they prepared to start sifting through their family's past. Anything that gives us insight into their lives. We need to understand their struggles and how they shaped who we are today. Sam nodded, his youthful curiosity effectively charging the air between them. Do you think they would want us to find these things? Evelyn paused, contemplating. It's hard to say. They often shielded us from their pain. But I believe they do want us to know the truth, to honor their journey. They shouldn't be ghosts in our lives anymore. With renewed energy, they stepped out of the vibrant gathering and into the quiet, familiar environment of Evelyn's home. As they navigated the small, cozy living room, the shadows of memories brushed against the walls, each object telling its own story. It was a comforting chaos that she had long accepted, but tonight it felt like an invitation to explore. Where do we start? Sam asked with enthusiasm, glancing around for signs of the past. Evelyn pointed towards a beaten-up trunk tucked away in the corner. That should contain some treasures. It belonged to your grandmother. I never had the courage to look inside. Sam approached it cautiously, his fingers brushing along the dust-covered surface. Is it okay if I open it? A lump formed in Evelyn's throat. This was it, the moment they'd decide if they could face the truth together. Yes, go ahead. With a creak that echoed through the room, the trunk lid gave way. As Sam pulled it up, the scent of aged paper wafted through the air, mixing with the aroma of the evening. Inside, tangled among worn clothes and faded fabric, were old photo albums, yellowed letters, and trinkets that were unmistakably relics of a life long lived. Wow, Sam whispered, his eyes lighting up with wonder. This is amazing. Evelyn leaned in closer, her heart racing. Memories flooded her mind as they began to sift. They uncovered snapshots of laughter and love, young parents, innocent smiles, summers spent under the sun. Each picture seemed to echo a story just waiting to be told. Look at this one. Sam exclaimed, holding up a photograph of a younger Evelyn with her grandparents, vibrant and full of life. She smiled at the picture, feeling a twinge of nostalgia mixed with melancholy. Yeah, she replied softly. They went through so much, yet they tried to create joy. It was their gift to us, love and resilience. Sam was quiet again, browsing through the letters peeking from the edges of the trunk. It's like we're time travelers, he said finally. We're getting to see their life. Evelyn's heart swelled with pride watching him embrace the intimacy of their stories. The shadows of the past no longer felt ominous. They felt like an invitation into understanding and connection. Suddenly, his face lit up again. Wait, there's more. He reached deep into the trunk and pulled out a small, ornate box. It was shiny, yet tarnished with age. What do you think's inside? He asked, excitement bubbling forth. The anticipation hung heavy in the air. Evelyn's breath quickened as she saw memories wrapped in layers of time, the implications of what they might find sending a shiver down her spine. Let us see, she encouraged him, almost breathless herself. As Sam fumbled with the clasp, Evelyn's heart raced, knowing that within this small box might lie not just new findings about their family but revelations that could alter their understanding of themselves. When the box finally clicked open, the world stood still, and all that was left was the breath of potential discovery and the question of whether they were ready for what they might uncover. What would they find in that box, and would it deepen their bond or unravel the fabric of their understanding even more? Inside the box, a delicate silver chain caught the light. Sam carefully lifted it out, revealing a small pendant shaped like a heart. It was surprisingly heavy for its size, and Evelyn felt a rush of nostalgia sweep over her. Is it a locket? Sam asked, his fingers brushing the surface, trying to find a way to open it. Evelyn nodded slowly, memories surfacing. It was your grandmother's. She would wear it every day. I remember her telling me it held something special. Sam's eyes sparkled with curiosity. After some gentle coaxing, the locket hinged open, revealing a faded photograph tucked inside. Both of them leaned closer. The image was worn, but one face stood out vividly among the clouds of age. It was Evelyn's grandmother, looking young and radiant, standing beside a man with dark hair and kind eyes Evelyn barely recognized. Who is this? Sam asked, his tone a mixture of confusion and intrigue. Evelyn's heart skipped. That's your grandfather, before I ever knew him, she replied, feeling the weight of unspoken stories. He left us when I was very young. I never really got to hear how they met or what life was like before everything changed. Sam studied her face, the realization dawning in his eyes. And you never asked? No, I was afraid, she admitted, her voice trembling. Afraid the memories were too painful, that it would upset the family. All those years, he remained a mystery, another ghost in our history. They exchanged a glance, an understanding passing between them. They were standing at a crossroads. Could they unravel these secrets without tearing apart the fabric of their belonging? Sam's youthful curiosity had ignited something in her, something dormant and yearning. "What else is in here?" he asked, digging back into the box as if fueled by the newfound urgency. A collection of old letters surfaced, tied together with a frayed ribbon. Sam's eyes lit up again. "These look ancient." He hesitated a moment, his excitement waning. "Should we read them?" Evelyn felt the swell of fear rising once more. What if they're filled with pain? The kind of pain we've avoided? But it could also explain everything. What if they share their love story? Their struggles? Sam urged, the thrill of discovery palpable in his voice. Swallowing hard, Evelyn wrestled with her thoughts. What if this brought them closer? What if it opened wounds that were meant to stay closed? Slowly, she nodded, breaking her own silent pact. "Yes. Let us read them. But we need to promise to be gentle with each other." Sam nodded solemnly, his excitement tempered by the weight of their task. He carefully untied the ribbon, and one by one, they began to unfold the letters, the ink fading but the emotions still rich and alive. As they read, scenes of her grandparents' lives played in Evelyn's mind. With each letter, strains of love, loss, regret, and hope sang through the words. Each line stirred her heart, and she could feel Sam leaning in closer, absorbing every syllable, weaving their history together. A sudden gasp escaped Sam's lips. "Evelyn, look at this." He held up a letter, pointing to a scrawl that was oddly familiar, revealing a name she hadn't expected. "Is that?" She trailed off, her mind racing. The name was one she only knew from whispers, tied to family drama that had never made its way into conversation. Yes. It's her brother. The one who left. Sam's voice trembled with excitement and disbelief. Evelyn's heart raced. Why was he never mentioned? It must be here. Maybe he was a part of the story all along, Sam said, his eyes sparkling. The air thickened with tension. What would they discover about this missing piece of their family puzzle? The sense of urgency settled, and the further they delved into these letters, the further they traveled into a past riddled with shadows and the faintest glimmers of light. "Are we ready to keep going?" Sam asked, looking at both the letters and the locket. Evelyn paused, her heart pounding. They stood on the brink of unraveling mysteries that might alter everything. Could they confront the secrets of the past? Would they have the strength to embrace what was uncovered? With a deep breath, she nodded, knowing that whatever lay ahead, they would face it together. What truths awaited them in those letters? And how would their revelations shape the bond between grandmother and grandson? The evening light streamed gently through the window as Sam and Evelyn sat cross-legged on the floor, a circle of papers, photographs, and whispers swirling around them. Dust motes danced in the golden beams, but the air was charged with their shared anticipation. "Let us start with this one," Sam said, lifting a letter with trembling hands. His eyes gleamed with excitement, but Evelyn saw how tenderly he approached it, as if it were a fragile treasure. She focused on his face as he began to read aloud, the words fluttering through the room like butterflies escaping a net. "Dear Lella," Sam read, pausing as if tasting the name. A flicker of recognition sparked in Evelyn's heart. "Your brother loved you dearly. He always thought of you as the family's light." Tears prickled her eyes. Grandfather's sister Lella. She had forgotten how magic that name felt, buried under years of silence. With every phrase, Sam's voice sank deeper into the story, a connection forming in the spaces between their breaths. The letters poured memories into the room like water filling a vase. Each paragraph revealed emotions, heartaches, and anecdotes that painted their past with vivid colors, a life once full, just waiting for them to discover. "Listen to this," Sam exclaimed, his voice animated. "Your brother had a way with words. It sounds like a part of him never left, just like those echoes of laughter in this room do." Evelyn's heart swelled. "He always was a writer," she whispered. Thought it was a wasted dream, no way. Look at all this depth. Sam exclaimed, reading on. The legacy of stories began stitching them closer, those unseen threads of history weaving with new hope. Hours passed, laughter and tears intermingling as memory unveiled its secrets, fragments of horror and love that shaped their lineage, reminding them that they weren't alone. Each letter became a lifeline, a bridge across the years of silence and pain. Then they reached a letter that turned solemn, its tone shifting to darkness. Sam swallowed, hesitating before reading it aloud. There were disagreements, the kinds that poison love. I fear I've made mistakes that could ruin the bond we built. Evelyn's heartbeat quickened, the truth lingering in the shadows just beyond the light. What did he do? She gasped softly, unsure about diving deeper. I don't know, Sam said, inching forward. But we need to know, don't we? His sincerity lit a spark in her, yet she felt herself veering toward uncertainty. We also might unearth painful truths, Sam. That's okay, he replied, securing her gaze. It's all part of the journey. With a steady breath, they continued unraveling their family's narrative. As they journeyed through the past, it was evident how much resilience flowed through their veins. The tapestry was stitched with not just regret but an indomitable spirit to rise from pain. Hours slipped by effortlessly until Sam held up the last letter from the box, ink blurred and softened with age. This one feels different, he remarked, a crease of intrigue lining his brow. Evelyn cradled the letter in her hands, feeling its weight more than she dared to admit. It's the last of our hidden stories, she whispered. With trembling fingers, she began to read as her voice found strength, bringing life to the words. If you're reading this, dear Lela, I hope you find the courage to embrace everything that's yet to come. Keep love alive. Speak up even when silence feels safe. The air thickened with emotion, and she glanced at Sam, tears spilling down her cheeks. What does that mean? He asked softly, the gravity settling upon both of them. It means, she whispered, that their legacy is not one of silence but of connection. Love is the answer even through darkness. As uncertainty seeped away, a warmth enveloped them, igniting something within. They were no longer weighed down by their legacy, they felt the weight of responsibility to nurture it instead. With the letters scattered around them, they understood now the real treasures weren't just hidden in these words. They were in the shared moments, the laughter, the healing. They had the power to let the light shine to mend their bond anew. Let us make our own memories, Sam suggested, a smile breaking through the gravity of earlier emotions. Absolutely, Evelyn agreed, warmth radiating outwards. Let us fill our lives with joy, just like they did. Standing up, they intertwined their arms, feeling propelled toward the dance floor where laughter still echoed. As they stepped back into the community, surrounded by where it all started, they welcomed the lightness with open arms. They knew there would be shadows. They'd dance between joy and pain. They'd carry their past but choose hope. Evelyn. A neighbor called out, pulling her into the frenzy of celebration. Let us dance. Sam shouted, a contagious grin illuminating his face. They twirled, grandmother and grandson lost in the rhythm of newfound connection and adventure. Love splashed through the room like fireworks lighting up the night sky. With every spin, every laugh shared, they were transforming their story into one of resilience and joy. No longer afraid, they stepped into the future wholeheartedly, ready to embrace it together, now woven into the fabric of family love. If you felt the power of this story, the transformation it sparked, then you need to subscribe now. This is the moment to show your support. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Comment below with your feelings. Let us know how this journey connected with you. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Together, we can spread love and healing in every corner.